Okay, hello students. We are looking at our formative assessment for our stackable foods compositions. So there's 4 questions and then there's a comment about looking at other students' work too. So first of all, are my ideas amazing? Really? How do I know? What does amazing look like? Prove it to me. So let's go backwards a little bit. We talked about our design principles. We talked about form. We did our basic forms. We looked at basic forms. We're trying to push the idea of form and 3-dimensional objects. We talked about creativity level 4, color, and using food items, and thinking about how that can work for us and how it can relate to us. So we talked about not being too terribly cliche, or maybe thinking about cliche ideas but then moving past them. We talked about not being boring, same, like definition of cliche. We talked about using different foods. We talked about how can I stack things in a more interesting way. We're stacking to get height, to keep volume. We don't want flat items. And we're thinking about our creativity levels. We're focusing mainly on the fact that when you entered this room this semester, you were already creative. Something on my screen. So we're trying to take your creativity and improve it, increase it, change it, and get you to be able to function at a higher level of creativity. So in our level 4, we're looking at using textures or other surfaces. We talked about how to do that. We talked about creating new patterns. We talked about searching deeper for ideas or adding surprise elements or associations of form. Like if Klaus Oldenburg was going to do this, what would he stick into this sculpture? As an association of form. Same shape, different item. I might add a more interesting font on a label. I might take a regular label like Starbucks and change it so it's something we haven't seen before. I can prove this with my sketchbook and my creative process. I'm thinking about my own original aesthetic and how it's developing. How all my work might start to look like it belongs to me. So, how do I know my ideas are amazing? I'm proving that I did these things. I'm proving that I'm moving through this design and creative process. So, what does amazing look like? Maybe ask your fellow table mates. Is this amazing? What could I do to make it a bit better? Have I moved through the levels of creativity to push my idea? And I'm saying, prove it. Show me that you have moved to level 3-4. So, Mr. T, when I started, I had this basic idea. Then I changed it and moved it around. I juxtaposed it. I didn't worry that it may or may not work with clay. I'm just focusing on, this is my amazing idea. We'll work on the clay part later. How do I have my food items organized? How is my idea a unique approach to the design principles? So I'm trying to push the idea of balance and movement. So to do that, I've changed the way my piece goes together. And that's a conscious decision. So even if you're not terribly conscious about these design principles, it's embedded in your art project somehow. We want to draw that out and make sure you're conscious of this decision-making process so you can use this in other disciplines. Well, in my art class, I tried this, so maybe this will work for this part of my math class, for this part of my writing in English. I'm listing 2 design principles that I'm trying to consciously work towards. My purpose statement. What is my project about? What will the viewer think when they see my work? What do I want them to think? A lot of the time students say, oh, I don't care what anybody thinks. It's not really about that. It's about what will they think about my artwork, and was that the direction I was going here? We're assuming best intent, that you're excited, you're interested, and you're motivated to create your project. So best intent would mean, I'm curious and I'm concerned what people will think, and I want to know if they're thinking what I want them to think based on how I developed my ideas. The bottom part is, what kind of constructive or positive criticism or suggestions could I give someone else about their project? How might they make it more creative, level 3-4, and what could they change to improve their ideas just a little bit? So we We want to be constructive or positive. We wouldn't want anyone telling us our work was terrible or bad. We want to point out what's good about their work and then talk about what they could add. I really like the way you've put this minivan in between these ice creams, and you know what would really look interesting to me is if the colors related as it moved through. That would help with your movement and your balance. So I might go with a monochromatic color scheme. So I might do shades of a single color, and then that'll kind of head me in a direction with my glazes. So we're thinking about positive comments for people. So this is our formative assessment. Think of it like I'm forming an opinion about my idea so that I don't move forward with an idea that's going to be bigger and take more time if I really don't like it. But also keep in mind, if you don't like your idea, now's the time to change it. You don't have to completely change it, and it might take you a little extra time, but it's important that you're interested in your idea and you've brought something into this idea, and you're not doing it for me, your teacher, but you're getting excited about it. So think about that when you are forming your opinions and filling out your questions here. Thank you.